Is next gen already kind of looking like a scam? Well, the more that I look at things and the more the news comes out each and every single day, it looks like I'm going to be saying no to next gen. So that's PlayStation 6 and Xbox, whatever, Helix, whatever they end up calling it. So you can look in the background. I have a lot of PlayStation and Xbox systems, Xbox Series X back there, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro. Actually, my PS5 Pro is right over here. And I've got pretty much all the Xbox systems in the past, all the PlayStation main systems in the past, and things just seem to be drifting more and more away from what even makes gaming fun. And I'm going to break down so many different things here, why I feel that I'm going to be saying no to next gen, or that it's just looking kind of like a scam right now at this point. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers, or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. So we know that Sony is removing physical games. January 2028 is the cutoff date. After that, there are no more physical games, and it doesn't seem like they're going to reverse course. They are even starting to ban people, it seems, in certain regions when it comes to talking about the physical game controversy, like the moderator there for PlayStation or whatever the official accounts are banning people. And they have said nothing to address the controversy. It looks like they're just going to ignore it. So that seems to be happening, and they're going to stick with it. Now, Xbox has apparently a plan to convert physical discs to digital games. So they're telling you right there, if that is true and correct, which it does seem like that is the case based off of different insiders, they're going to want you to just simply take all your physical games, make them digital, then head into the next gen with your account with the digital games. With your physical, turn digital, and there you go. So maybe that's a little bit better of a plan than Sony just saying, oh, well, you're screwed, like if you have like physical games. But they're still prepping you and getting you ready, because the Xbox Helix is probably going to not have a disk drive. Physical games is a dying breed on Xbox platforms. They've been trying to kill it now for over a decade plus, between what they pulled off with the Xbox One at E3 all of those years ago, Don Matrick.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message if you don't, like it?
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device.
And what they've done with Game Pass, that is clearly just trying to move everybody to all digital, and even renting. They want you to rent. They want you to stream games. They don't even want you to download them when it comes to owning them digitally. They want you to rent them at the end of the day and pay that unlimited subscription to access all of those big first-party games, or stream them on the cloud, or whatever this other nonsense is that I don't like because I'm old. But either way, like, it just is going towards the situation that I don't like. I don't like what they're doing here. I don't like the fact that everything is going to be tied to an account, and I'm reading off of a little thing that I posted here, guys, so if my eyes wander, that's where it's wandering to. I don't like the account stuff. I don't like how they're doing that, because, like, what if your account gets hacked? We saw big content creators, Colin Moriarty, his account got hacked, and I think maybe because of his position when it comes to PlayStation, he was able to get it back faster than some people. Some people might not even be able to get it back. Get your account hacked, you might not have the clout that he has. So I think that that's a problem for me, at least. I'd rather not tie all my games to a singular account that some like Point Dexter could just like hack into and get access to. Also, less deals on games. I mean, I think it's very clear. I mean, if you can't see it, it's obviously very clear that only having one storefront to buy your games from is stupid. And like, I would like to have the ability to be able to go to different places to buy games, and that's why used games, and that's why having physical games is important, because you can buy from eBay, you can buy from Amazon, you can buy from third-party sellers, you can buy from yard sales, you can buy from wherever when it comes to your games. So therefore, that puts more pressure on these publishers to make sure that they have good prices when it comes to digital. But most of the time, you'll just see outright better prices on physical, but there'll also be good prices on digital. But the point of me saying this is that you have the choice. Consumers should have choice. You should have choice of physical or digital, and based on when you want to play a game or when you want to get a game, whatever price is cheaper for you and what you want to get, you should have that choice. That choice should not be removed, even if you are all physical. I don't want them to remove digital option, Even if you're all digital, I don't want them to remove the physical option. So for me, at least, that makes sense. They work together. They work in harmony, not one against each other. Sony likes to put it that way, like it's one against each other, but we already know their numbers are skewed when they talk about everyone's just buying digital. Yeah, because all your top selling games and stuff don't have actual physical copies. When we actually have numbers based off the Insomniac leak, when it comes to major titles that have physical and digital, the numbers aren't quite so slided towards like 80% or whatever digital. Well, yeah, if you have no physical option, of course there's going to be digital. That's going to be the predominant way that people are playing things. But with major games, not so much. So Sony's kind of fidgeting there with some of those numbers and all of that. And once again, Sony can just yank right into that account. They have the power to do that and pull whatever they want. They've done it with demos when it comes to the Stellar Blade situation that happened. We're seeing it with movies as well. So it's one of those things to where, yeah, I don't want to tie all my games to a digital only account based system. So nah, I'm good with that. Another situation that we have to talk about here, Western game quality has tanked. Now listen, I'm not here for your Western games, your ball and gun gamers and all that. If you guys like that stuff, you like your CODs, you like your Battlefields, you like your ball games, you like your NBA 2Ks and your Maddens, that's cool. Enjoy it. Have fun. I'm not here to sit there and hate on those games all day, but let's just be real here, guys. The game quality seems to be lacking when it comes to what people are going to, the big AAA titles that people get excited about, especially on the Western gaming front. Now, I'll talk about Japanese games in a bit because, as many of you guys know, but if you don't know, I'm more of a Japanese game player when it comes down to it. So let's talk about this. Look at the past Game of the Year winners. When it comes to taking advantage of the current gen, right? Or people say next gen, even though we're like 6 years into it or going to 6 years. Current gen, I'm just going to call it that, PS5, Xbox Series, whatever, right? So if you look at the current gen, look at all of the past Game of the Year winners since the current gen started. Since 2020, look at the past Game of the Year winners and ask yourself, what game is so groundbreaking or defining that has actually solidified and justified these current systems that we have right now? Let's just take a look at this, guys. 2020, The Last of Us Part 2. That's a PS4 game. 2021, It Takes Two. That's an indie game that's like on everything, even Switch 1. 2022, Elden Ring. That's a PlayStation 4 game upscaled to the PlayStation 5 and current gen. 2023, Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, you can say that one. That's also a PC game that spent years in beta and is best played on PC. 2024, Astrobot. Great game. Definitely utilizes what some of the technology that the PS5 does, but it's more known for its fun gameplay and its innovative DualSense features. 2025, Expedition 33. Another game that, yes, it looks great, but made by a smaller team. Not something that you have to say, oh my gosh, big AAA production. I'm pretty sure that game could have been done on PlayStation 4 with just worse graphics. I mean, you just press a button to parry, and then you press a couple different buttons in like QuickTime events that we've seen for decades now in gaming, dating all the way back to God of War and even before then, or even like Paper Mario back on the N64 with timing up your button presses and everything. So it's not anything that's a super crazy or new or innovative concept. It just had a great story and really striking visuals for a Japanese style turn-based RPG, but made in the West, made in France. So to me, that's not really anything that's, oh my God, I'm justifying PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. And then now that brings us to 2026. Okay, we've got Grand Theft Auto. That's probably going to win Game of the Year. So it took 6 years to get some type of superpower, technologically advanced game that's going to take full advantage of the current gen that's been in development for like a decade and a half. Is going to cost $100 to access the full game and doesn't have an actual physical version. So they're going to be able to control prices from now until forever. Yeah, that just perfect. That's great. That's great when it comes. I mean, like, I'm running out of ways. Like, it's funny. I don't think it's funny, but it's like funny when it comes to everything that's happening right now. So 6 years in. So for me, the game quality just isn't there. If you're looking at what the Western game industry says is the best of the best, just not quite there. Now, Microsoft has struggled to make consistent great games. That's why Phil Spencer is gone. Their whole plan with Game Pass absolutely crumbled, and the sales have never been worse because the games just haven't been as good. They haven't been able to get Halo going. They haven't been able to get Gears of War going. Let's see how Gears of War E-Day does. They've taken all generation for Fable. They canceled Perfect Dark. The list goes on and on. They don't use Banjo-Kazooie. And if you look at Sony, it seems like they've almost canceled more games than put out consistent releases. Do they have some bangers here and there? Absolutely. Astrobot is great. They've had some Ratchet and Clank. They've had Returnal. Sorrows came out somewhat recently and was okay. But man, it has not been consistent, and they've had huge issues. Like, for example, Concord and the dumpster fire that was, and all of the canceled live service games that have blown a hole straight through having consistent releases. So they've even struggled, which is why they are supporting AI and using that to try to develop games now going forward, in addition to getting rid of physical games. They just want to make way more profit because they aren't making that. And they've also doubled down on having live service games in the future. So it's like, yeah, we haven't learned from that. We're going to continue doing it, because if they get a hit, it's way more money than actually making, you know, Jack and Daxter or Sly Cooper or Legend of Dragoon or stuff that people have been asking for like a decade now or something. So another point that I want to say is that Japanese game developers are going to be supporting this current generation like crazy. So Switch 2, whether you want to call that next gen, and it's really more aligned with PS6 and Xbox Helix, that's fine. I don't really care where you put it. It's irrelevant at the end of the day. But PS5, Switch 2, current generation, all platforms that are out right now, and even somewhat next gen with Switch 2, it's going to be supported for a long time. They are going to support that, especially the Japanese developers, because if you look at the current sales for the PlayStation 5 in Japan and the Xbox Series, it has never been more garbage. These systems are selling terrible in Japan, and the sales have buckled to a crawl here in the US. Some of the lowest sales that they've ever recorded has been this year after the price increases that we got. So there is no confidence from the Japanese game development scene that the next systems are going to somehow come out and everyone's going to migrate over to them and they can just put all their games on there and make exclusives. I highly doubt that's going to happen. Now, will there be some that looks incredible? I'm sure of it, but 99% of Japanese game developers are absolutely going to stick with Switch 2 and stick with PlayStation 5, as those have install bases. You also look at Japan and they like physical games. Physical games, when it comes down to it, doesn't seem like it's going to be supported when it comes to PlayStation 6 and Xbox Helix. So yeah, that's another problem when it comes to what Japanese developers are thinking. Yes, they're not going to be able to put out physical PlayStation 5 discs going forward from January 2028 and beyond, but their previous games will still be supported with that. And of course, Switch 2 games will be supported. And I'm like secretly hoping that since they won't be producing PlayStation 5 discs and probably not Xbox Helix discs going forward when it comes to that, and PlayStation 6 discs as well, maybe they're going to put all that money towards making sure that they have real physical cartridges so we can get real games on the Nintendo Switch 2. More and more developers are. Still too many game keycards, but more developers are doing that. So I'm hoping they shift those resources over to that so we can actually get real physical games from 2028 and beyond. High prices are going to be a major problem when it comes to the PS6 and the Xbox Helix. They're already a major problem now with the current gen. So if they're a problem now where you walk into a store, and if they even have an Xbox series, because a lot of stores are just not fulfilling the orders when it comes down to it. When you walk in there and you see the price tag of $800 for an Xbox Series X and $500 plus for an Xbox Series S, and you're thinking, wow, that was a lot cheaper 5 or 6 years ago. That is already discouraging people right now. Even with the PlayStation 5, that system has sold great so far, over 90 million plus, on its way to 100 million, and we'll probably get there once GTA 6 comes out and they have some discounts and deals and stuff. But even with that system, some of the lowest sales, and the pricing is $900 for the PlayStation 5 Pro. You cannot release a new system, the PlayStation 6, and it somehow be significantly cheaper than a $900 PlayStation 5 Pro that you increased the price of 2 times since 2025 So within a year's time, that's up $200 from the $700 price point that I bought it in early 2025. That is wild. So the high prices of these systems are going to cause a huge problem. And it's going to look like a scam to a lot of people out there, especially ball and gun gamers out there with Madden and Call of Duty and stuff like that. They're going to think, well, why do I need to upgrade to that? It's going to cost me an arm and a leg, and my PlayStation 5 or my Xbox Series, which is still going to be supported, it's going to get those games too. It's going to get the games that I like. Now, maybe there's some type of outlier. Once again, they're probably going to show off some cool games that are running like 120 FPS and like, you know, million resolution and all that. And that's awesome. That's so cool. And I think it's going to be fun and all that, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Heck, even the Steam machine is over $1,000. Heck, there's a $1,000 version of the Steam machine that doesn't even come with a controller. You got to pay extra for that. So, man, the prices, the RAM crisis, everything is just out of control at this point. So for all of these reasons, I'm thinking, man, next gen is already looking like a scam. And a lot of people are probably going to be saying no to next gen. But what do you think when it comes to everything we talked about here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other video talking about how we could be seeing an industry crash if you haven't seen that one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.